Welcome back to News Sources. Now, 3 administration police officers were killed this morning after their vehicle ran into an improvised explosive device in the border town of Liboi. In Mandera, the governor survived a terror attack, but 5 of his officers were not lucky. They were killed. Is this the return of terror? We start with you, Danish. Where are we again? We thought we had managed to bring down this.
I think, to give credit where it's due, our security apparatus have been working extra hard, and we've seen a considerable drop in the number of attacks if you consider the 2013 when Jubilee came to power. But first of all, my condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones. It is extremely unfortunate that we are seeing lives being lost in terror. And I'm hoping that the government still continues the fight on terror and doubles it so that we're able to stop such nonsense that happens around our borders.
Betty?
I feel that we don't give enough credit to our servicemen and the sort of risks they take. Having said that, I don't feel that, because we had a conversation, or rather we had a State of the Nation address earlier this year, and in fact it was his last before the nominations process began, and the president stated that there has been a significant drop in terror attacks and security has been increased in the country, and I was like, no, it can't be. And here we go. This is this week. Last week, something else happened. And my question is, okay, are we actually helping our servicemen actually serve this country? Or are we just sending out our people and they become cannon fodder in the face of maybe better equipped terrorists?
Ramadan, was there thinking in sending our own into Somalia, for example, and we have not secured our own home ground?
The Somalia issue, I think...
It's a long one.
It's a long one. And if you're looking at these attacks, I think it should be looked at as a security and a political issue. Because when we are nearing to electioneering period, we see the intensity of these attacks as well. So what's the correlation or the connection between politics and this terrorism thing? This is something that needs to be looked at as well. Because we can't just dismiss it and say all of it is Al-Shabaab. Yeah?
The run-up to 2013 elections, we had similar attacks.
We had
67 attacks.
Now we are going to...
We're going to another election 2 months to come. Have security forces slept, or someone is pulling strings somewhere?
I really want to give credit where it's due. Our security personnel, police to civilian ratio has increased significantly since the Jubilee came to power. We have seen...
You're saying that is a lie? Right?
We have seen an improvement in terms of the apparatus, and the president just launched recently equipment that are latest, and we're able to contain such. So we should not lose the fight or lose hope simply because one attack has happened. Of course, lives have been lost. But we must continuously encourage our security forces and tell them that we are supporting you, and we hope that even as you continue to fight terror, both within and outside, we are behind you. And I'm happy that we should not respond with fear. We should not respond by asking, is it the return to terror? We cannot go back to the time where we were not able to walk in Gikomba or in town. We were scared. We must have faith that our security apparatus are working extra hard. This is just one incident that is extremely painful to even discuss, but we should see that the trend has completely gone down.
Danish, I have to stop you in your tracks.
Actually,
I have to stop you in your tracks because we got to a point where media decided to side with government because we were afraid in quote-unquote glorifying terror in this country, okay? And we lost so many people. Case in point, Eladi attack. Media shied away from saying that we lost more than 150 servicemen. These are human beings with families out there. These are our brothers and our sisters. Yes. And because we don't want to give Al-Shabaab credit, and I stand corrected, we buried these issues so that we could get glory out of this.
That's not what I'm saying, Dennis. I'm just saying that yes, there's been an attack, and it's unfortunate that lives have been lost. But we must also acknowledge that we've seen tremendous reduction in the levels and the number of attacks that we're seeing in this country. That's all I'm saying. We must be objective. That's all I'm saying. That yes, there's an attack. It shouldn't have happened. But let us not respond with fear and say that now is it the return of terror and ask such leading questions. That, for me, is what I'm against. Let us report them and let us talk about it.
I just think, look, there's a difference between propagating terrorist propaganda, or rather pushing terrorist propaganda in the mainstream media and actually asking concrete questions that might save the lives of our servicemen, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, and our sons. I think it's important to ask, where are we dropping the ball? Are we not giving them enough equipment? Are we not giving them enough support? Why are we having them out there in the bush? They're just, why is this going on? Why is it happening this way?
Let's localize this. The killing of 3 children of an aspiring MCA, where am I? MCA as security experts questioning the state of security in this country. The government saying the killing of the 3 youngsters is not political, but this cannot be happening ahead of the general election in August. And biggest question in the room at the moment, Danish, is no, Ramadan. The biggest question is, are security agencies not doing enough ahead of these elections? We are likely to have a very emotive, highly charged election when you have young children dying under these circumstances, apart from the government saying it has nothing to do with politics. An MCA's body was discovered some time back. An aspiring member of parliament was killed in Baringo. Are we likely to have a reduction in this?
What
or
we're seeing, yes. And just going back to what my colleague Danish has said, he's celebrating the hardware part of the policing, where he says we've bought equipment, we've done what, but we are not dealing with the software. Like, such matters can never be resolved with the current policing we have, because they don't have the software to do it. Crime deterrence deals with intelligence and also how investigations are done, which we lack at the moment. So, and again, on these issues of these killings, and the killings are going on, I think we've normalized killings, and we've never heard from the head of state even questioning why we still have extrajudicial killings in a country like Kenya. We are not a failed state where we resolve issues by the bullet.
I have a problem with this sweeping statement, because he's not a security expert to say that we cannot
resolve. I'm not
a
security expert, but I'm a security student.
We have no this, we have no this.
No.
You're saying like an expert.
You are celebrating the hardware
Why are you
part of
speaking
it.
like an expert?
We can have 1,000 police officers, but who cannot resolve a simple murder like that case?
Okay. You're walking and
what does this, Betty? What does this do to an election period like this? If youngsters like this can be killed, it has nothing to do with politics. That's what the government is saying. But these are children of someone who is an aspiring MCA. As I said, an MCA's body was found somewhere. An aspiring member of parliament was killed in Baringo. Where does this leave an ordinary Mwananchi looking forward to this election?
I find it very difficult for the government to come to the conclusion that these murders were not politically instigated. But then again, I'm going to leave it to the Director of Public Prosecutions to do their job. My issue is that we find it, and as Ramadan has said, we find it so easy and so normal to have extreme violence in high-stakes politics at the MCA level and also at the presidential level. It's a bit funny for him to, you can't expect somebody who went all the way to the International Criminal Court to turn around and, question when extrajudicial killings are occurring under his own regime. That's not going to happen. But what we can question is the rate of debasement in the society, how we have decided to take up politics, even in the ward level. Why aren't we taking, why are we allowing it threats like this to just be made? And then why are those people who are threatened taking them seriously? And more importantly, why isn't the police able to mitigate those situations? Like Ramadan has said, it's possible that the police are not able to interject in this situation. Look at the number of aspirants we have. Do we really expect that our policemen, 30,000 now, I think 30,000 policemen are going to spend their time protecting 16,000 aspirants? No. It can't work. So again, community policing, again, the way we take our politics, are we being extreme? Are we being too violent? Are we, are we not taking the lives of our aspirants seriously enough in the political atmosphere?
I think if not for anything else, let us bring to book those people who killed those children. If not for anything
political
else,
statements. You sound like a politician.
Those children to book completely. They must pay. It doesn't matter what it takes. I don't care about excuses. I believe in the ability of our security apparatus to bring those criminals to justice, and
You
they
know,
must pay.
this is not the first killings we are hearing about.
Let us not talk
If
about
we can
problems, let us
resolve
talk about solutions.
cases, those are solutions.
Give it to the police and the Director of Public Prosecutions. I think they have individuals currently in court.
But
So
will they prosecute
let
that
it
case
run its own
successfully?
course.
Let
Run
us
its
not
course.
preempt
So moving on, the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission is running out of time and maybe options. The commission is yet to procure a competent company to supply it with ballot papers, and a court ruling that is likely to completely change how the tallying and final announcement for the presidential election result is likely to be conducted. Let's have a listening.
Such like orders courts should not give. Waambie watu no, because of time. The time we have is not on our side. Let's give IEBC time to prepare. Since it is a constitutional requirement that we must vote in August. Hakuna mtu iko na authority ya extend. So our courts must appear like Kenyan courts.
All our systems and processes are in place. If you talk about fairness, and if you talk about transfer of staff, for example, all the returning officers are moving away from their home constituencies, their home counties, to other counties, so that we have at least the face of Kenya reflected everywhere.
Gentlemen and lady, this is what Samuel Kibiru did to us in 2007, telling us things are in place until the very last minute. We have less than 4 minutes. Ramadan, are we ready for this election as IEBC?
I think it's IBC's in own mistakes or making that we are in this situation. Like issues of ballot papers, they were to do open tendering. They didn't do it. So they're waiting to the last minute, and they want maybe to do single sourcing. If you do single sourcing, you'll lose trust and confidence from players in the political field. I think it's their own mistakes. They had time. They have had time. The commissioners have had time. The secretariat has been working. We are ready.
I think that IEBC really needs to pull up its socks. But having said that, they've had so many challenges. I think they had only 6 months to get themselves together and get picked as commissioners and what have you. So I'm going to give them that leeway. But now it's time to just start running instead of walking.
Mm-hmm. My good friend Atuli is saying give them time. I will.
Based on how elections usually affect our country, I think the IEBC needs to build a little bit of confidence and move into action and move with speed to ensure that everything is in place, that we are able to get credible elections that will not be contested, that might actually disrupt our lives. We really want peaceful elections in the August. So IEBC must do everything in its power. The political players must do everything in their power to ensure that we have a peaceful country.
Ramadan, IEBC is doing everything possible to appeal a decision of the High Court.
In fact,
called for, timely.
It brings a lot of confidence question on the operation and what they want to do at the final result. The problem we've had, elections being contested, is because a player feels it's been rigged, and the rigging has been done at Bomas. So when the law was changed and said election result should be declared at constitutional level, was to try and mitigate this issue of rigging. The 2 million voters that turn up, and Isaac Hassan never explained, was to be rectified there. But IEBC going to court to contest that their officials who they have employed in the constituencies cannot declare results is so questionable and fishy.
Mm-hmm. Betty, what Ramadan is saying, we are likely to stop the transportation of election results to Nairobi and the selection of a president in the city.
I think, no, listen, okay, that's a bit far, but this is what I think. IEBC needs to show that they have confidence in themselves and their institutions.
Yes.
Okay, and for that, they need to adhere to the law. Their appeal doesn't make sense to me. Because in any case, you wanted, and from a security angle, we have the General Nkaiseri saying, you know what, no disputing of results. Well, the fastest way to stop that is at the constituency level. Okay, so IEBC, it's like you're trying to avoid a conflict by creating one. Mm-hmm. And to me, you have to have more faith in yourselves as an institution and in the people that you've hired. Otherwise, what are we doing then?
We must bring the show to an end. Danish Odongo, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Asante sana, thank you so much.
Glad to have you for the first time on this show, on this day. And of course, Ramadan Rajab. Tonight we're asking you, has the Jubilee government delivered on its election promise?